Hi everyone, and welcome to Club Live here at Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. We are live as usual on a Friday night on YouTube. So, as usual, get your comments in if you can. We'll try our best to answer them. Like and share as well. We are trying to get close to the 8,000 mark as the next milestone for us as the podcast, and we're not too far from it. But yes, it is the three of us tonight. Mr. Gemmell is working, unfortunately, so cannot make tonight's podcast. But anyway, we still have a decent lineup, I would say, anyway. So first of all,
decent.
Mr. Scott, decent. Yeah, but Gemmell's the main man they'll come to see, to be honest. I would say we're the B team, or right. I'm the B team. But aye, Mr. Carney, how are we this Friday night?
Yes, I'm good, mate. Busy week for me. A real busy week for me. Busy day today as well, to be completely honest. But yeah, the world and things, Rangers just seems to be rolling on and on and on. So plenty to get into. Hello, chat. Good to see everybody. Hope you're having a lovely day.
Yep. And also we have Ross McLean as well. How are we tonight, Ross?
Yeah, so mate, all good. We are under a week away until the football's back. Can you believe? Honestly, it's someone's flew by, and I'm glad that I'm glad I'm looking forward to the game. Because a few months ago, I don't know if I was, but I am very, very buzzing for it. So plenty to get into as always. And yes, let's get straight on into it.
Ross may be having some Wi-Fi issues tonight, everybody, but we're going to try and battle through with it. If he has to leave and come back, then so be it. It's all part of show business, isn't it?
Ross is currently in Coach's room at the moment. That's what it is.
Yeah,
indeed. Coach's Wi-Fi. But no, you're right, Ross. The big games are very close now. We've been that's a couple of months at least now. We've had no Rangers. I know we had the friendly the other week at Ibrox, but this is the first proper competitive game in a couple of days' time. And away back a week or so ago, before we started making the signs, I said I wanted 3 on top of what we had. I think we've got a wee bit more than that now. But yeah, it's getting close. I would say Carney probably got his today as well. You would have got your ticket emailed to you today by Rangers for the Panathinaikos game. The smart cards for this season are not working.
Do you want me to tell you what happened with mine? So I got the usual email while I was at work saying, how it comes up with the Panathinaikos thing, like the email comes through, and I just seen it. I didn't go in and read it because I'm one of these guys that has like 4,500 unread emails in my inbox, so I don't bother going to read it. So I checked and I thought, that's cool, that'll be them confirming the payment and blah blah, all that stuff. And it only dawned on me, I thought, hang on, nothing else has followed that. And I checked, and for some reason the payment could not be made by my CCS thing, that my credit card that I've got signed up to it. I've got no real idea why. I went into the account, did all the things, checked all the payments, everything was absolutely fine, but for some reason they didn't take my payment, so I had to do it manually, mate. Luckily my seat was still there and I am still going to be in my seat, but I was like, bit bizarre. But I got my ticket as soon as I paid for it, which was last night. But
That's interesting.
The usual CCS crap, mate, isn't it?
That's interesting you said that, Carney, because I went in at the beginning of the season when you do a season ticket and ticked my CCs again for friendlies as well. And I think I get an email back confirming about you're in the CCs and that. And then, but they sent the emails out in terms of the friendlies, that the money will come out at this time. And I was this very similar for the friendlies, that they never come out for me. So I had to manually go and buy the friendly tickets for Bruges and Middlesbrough. But the one for Panathinaikos came out okay, and I got the email today. So I don't quite know what's going on. I don't know if anyone else has had any issues with that, but I'd like to know why the season ticket cards can't work, because it's worked previously. So I don't quite know the ins and out of it, but I know somebody did ask.
What's frustrating as well? Sorry, I'm not even.
I know
Ross is just sitting there. What annoys me as well is that everybody complains about how big the queues are because of the QR codes. I would say maybe 80% of the people that are there are season ticket holders. I know some choose not to go and do the European games. I know midweek doesn't suit everybody, so I get that. Not everybody buys a European package, but it's about 80% using your card is so much easier than having to faff about your phone and zoom in on a QR code and this and that, and it just causes chaos. I would also like to know the answer to that. If the SLO is in the chat tonight, I would quite like for you to give a response to that, Greg. That would be quite nice.
Yeah, people did ask him on Twitter today, and that was earlier on today, and I don't think he responded to it as of that point. So it'll be interesting to go back on that and see if he has responded. But anyway, apart from me and Carney moaning about CCs and tickets and QR codes and all that, we'll probably moan when we go on Tuesday and it takes bloody ages to get in the ground because some idiot's going to use their smart card. But we'll have a
my favourite one is when somebody's holding a paper ticket up to the bit that you would tap on your season ticket on. I'm like, mate, how do you possibly think that's going to work? Like, put it under there, mate. Like, I know. Anyway, let's get on to some Rangers news apart from that. But we have made a signing at the beginning of the week. It's taken for ages, Ross. We had images of this man at St George's Park in the new Rangers training gear, which we all love. And it just seemed to take ages and ages and ages. I did talk to a guy from my work who's the Sheffield Wednesday fan, and he did say it was their owner, I think, pressed pause on it because they thought they were potentially getting a new takeover by somebody, which was never going to happen. It's went through. Gassama has signed reportedly 2.2 million. Sheffield Wednesday fans are not happy because he's their star man. Obviously, we've been through tough times like they are at the moment. Hopefully, they can get back because they're a good club, Sheffield Wednesday. But he's through the door. Ross Gassama, he's signed, as we mentioned last week. He's quick, he's tricky, he can beat players. He looks a type of guy that's going to get you off your seat. What's your thoughts on him finally being announced as a Rangers player?
Oh, it's an exciting one. It is an exciting one. It's one of these signings that I've been longing for, lads. I won't lie, I've been longing for. I stupidly had a look at YouTube this morning, and I'm not saying he's the best thing since sliced bread, but I might need to make a trip to Ibrox to get one on the back of my shirt. It's very, very exciting, mate. With him coming in the door, number 23. I didn't know if for me, that number is associated to Scott Wright. I had a feeling he was somehow kicking about the back of the club somewhere. So I'm glad to know Scott Wright isn't, in fact, still in the door. He is here, Gassama. So, yes, very, very exciting. The big question...
The big question is, Ross's Wi-Fi has just dropped out completely and he's frozen. Carney disappeared. And I was on my own for seconds there. Didn't flap, so you're all right, everyone. But Ross is completely frozen. Is he back? I think he may be back. No, he's gone.
He's having trouble. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what happened to me there, to be honest.
It was I don't know if you heard about Scott Wright there and suddenly disappeared off the podcast, but that's what Ross was going on about in terms of Gassama's got the new 23 shirt and he's got big boots to fill in terms of Scott Wright and when we get to Hampden. But we'll wait for Ross to get back in the room again and hopefully his Wi-Fi's a bit better. But Carney, obviously we're just talking about Gassama there. What's your thoughts on him coming? And he's played a lot of games for Sheffield Wednesday. He played, I think, just about every game for them last season in the Championship. I'm expecting him to start for Rangers.
I don't think there's any doubt, mate. I think he is coming here to start. I don't think there's anything really other than that. It's getting a bit hard to keep track, and I know we like to moan about us not signing enough. Now we're signing too many players because I'm going, right, sorry, how many is that? How many is this? And it's the usual bit where you've got to try and wonder who's who and where they're playing it, etc. But this signing alone, mate, I think the reaction to it from Sheffield Wednesday fans is kind of reassuring in terms of us making a signing of this caliber of player. We've been really screaming for a proper winger for I don't know how long. It's been too long really since we've had kind of out and out wingers. Apart from obviously Tierney made a bit of an impact, and then you obviously go back to Dan Kent as well. Yes, but for the money we've got him for the experience that he already has, for the age that he is, for the talent academy that he's kind of came from, the youth academy that he's came from. I mean, PSG, you look at them playing football now, maybe not against Chelsea, but previously you watched them playing football and you're like, that's pretty exciting to know that he's coming from that kind of background. I think it's a bit of a coup for Rangers, mate, and I think he said all the kind of right things about as soon as the Rangers were interested, he said to his agent, well, we need to go there, which is exciting. That's always good. Whether all these players have been told to say this, because Russell Martin, again, this me playing the cynicism bit with Russell Martin saying every player's got to be desperate to play for this club. Is he telling them to say this to the press? Who knows? But I'm excited by it, mate. We're getting to the point where we are signing attackers now. And look, everybody loves a good defender. Everybody loves a good midfielder. But there's nothing we love more than getting a player that will get you off your seat. And he looks like the type of guy that will be able to do this. I think it's a cracking signing. I really do. And I think now we are really beginning to see a kind of an idea of what Russell Martin's planning to do with this squad. And yeah, I suppose maybe one for after this particular question, but there's a lot going to get made and a lot starting to be made about the mentality and how does he change and shift that mentality that has rotted within our team for quite a bit of time. And I think the first thing you can start with is really bringing in starters into the squad, and look, Gassama I think is probably destined for bigger and better, well, not bigger, but maybe more lucrative offers from elsewhere later on in his season. But if he comes here and he's a superstar for 2 years and we sell him for 15 million, job done. I'm excited by it, mate. I really am.
Yeah, I liked his RTV interview when the interviewer, the girls kept asking him, what type of player are you for the fans? And he kept saying, I'm a nice guy. That's all I kept saying, I'm a nice guy. And I was sitting there going, I don't want bloody nice guys at Ibrox. I want absolute bastards coming into the team. But,
yes.
And obviously his English isn't great, so I'll let him off with that. But he just kept saying, I'm a nice guy. So
I don't think, no offence, I don't really know her, and if anybody does, I'm really sorry, but I don't think our questions were particularly great either. I'm like, you're not really helping the guy out here. Do you know what I mean? Like, give him half a chance.
Yeah, that was the greatest interview. But Ross is back in the room. His Wi-Fi, I think, is back working. We've got, I think you've got your dad peddling as quick as Scotia's Dan in the background there. So you're back. Gassama, you were in mid-flow of he's taking Scott Wright's number, Ross. So take it away.
Yes, he has. I do apologise. If it goes off again, I shall call it a night. But apologies for that, folks.
Don't be daft, mate. We've been more unprofessional than this enough time, Ross, so don't worry about it.
Gary slagged us already. He said something about... I said something about the way the pod started is the way exactly how he thinks Tuesday night's going to go at Ibrox.
Oh, come on. There's a positivity, lads.
Thank you, Gary. Yes,
come
on. Good to
on.
have you here.
Oh, as always. But yes, the Scott Wright number 23. I'm glad that Scott Wright is he's far away from the club. I did think he was locked in the background. But yes, Gassama is a very exciting signing, lads. As we were speaking about last week, PSG youth team, everything you want to hear. Played a lot of games for his club last season. I guess 47 games. So at the age of 21, that's frightening. So a big expectation placed on him. I won't lie, and I hope, to be honest, lads, to see him in the starting 11 come next Tuesday. But we'll get on to our teams and scores later on. But very, very happy, me mate, with the signing. Yeah,
no, I'm the same. I just want somebody on the right hand side now, which we've been screaming out for years. So I'd like to think that might be the next area of the park we'll be looking at. But moving on, obviously he was a signing. Players out the door at the moment, which Rangers are struggling at the moment to get certain players out the door, which I knew would happen. One, because they're on high wages. Two, they're not very good. And three, why would other clubs want them? So that it's hard to get them out the door. But the first one, I'll stick with you, Ross. The first one that's come up this week, an interesting one. Trabzonspor, who obviously really enjoy looking at our players, as they've got Barisic and Lundstrom. Apparently, we're looking at John Suter, reportedly 1.5 million euros. He's in the last year of his contract. I've said about Suter what I think about Suter. I don't think he's good enough to play week in, week out for Rangers, or the big games, if you want to say. I think he's a very good squad option or a backup for Rangers, especially at Ibrox. What's your thoughts on this one? A lot of people are moaning, saying 1.5 million is not that much money, but then you take into account he is quite injury prone, John Souttar. He's in the final year of his contract. What's your thoughts on this one?
Oh, it is an interesting one. I do think it does need context. It does, as you say, mate, his contract is running out, so we can't expect too much for premium price for him. If he did have a few more years left, you can look at it and say he's an international player. He's played, in Europe for Rangers. He's an established centre half. Charge a wee bit more, but I reckon it's probably just that fees probably reflects his contract at the moment. I wouldn't be letting go of him. I know that he's not everyone's cup of tea. I wouldn't say he's mine either, but I just think we need a wee bit of depth there just now. If you look at our centre halves that we've brought in, look at Fernandez, Giga, etc. Very young, and that's not even obviously still in the door. You've got Leon King, who was in the European squad. Obviously, we know the situation with Siala, but if he had to come in, that's still youthful players there. So we don't have a lot of age in that department. So I think Johnson, I wouldn't be getting rid of him anytime soon. As well as that, simply how many players in our team, the classic phrase, know the Scottish League. You know what I mean? Souttar's played here for a big amount of time, both with Hearts, with Rangers. I'd be looking to keep him just for just now. We're going through this transition where you were bringing in new players who maybe are a bit inexperienced. You've seen Jigs, Robin Proper, he said himself that the SPFL just...
That's Ross's Wi-Fi gone again. He was going well, to be fair. He was in mid.
Oh, he's back.
There you go, Ross.
Are we back?
You're back.
Okay, there we go.
You were at Robin Proper there. That's why it stopped.
Robin Proper. Honestly, mention Scott Wright and Robin Proper, and it just wants to kick me out. It's probably
serves you right. It does serve you right, mate. To be fair, it does.
Yeah, I know. But I'd be looking to keep Souttar. I mean, I'd be very surprised if it goes in the window, to be honest. Especially because Russell Martins came out and kind of established him as one of the more, I guess, one of the figureheads of the locker room, the changing room at the moment. So I think Souttar will say, but you never know. You never ever know.
I love the locker room comment there as well, though. I mean, that's the American sleeping right in there. Locker room.
The locker room.
Get him back to the locker room.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, Ross. I mean, I would keep him this season. If the offer's 1.5 million, even to keep him this season and lose him as a free next summer, I think he's worth more than for a season, if you know what I mean, in terms of he's been there at Ibrox, as you say, he knows the Scottish game. I think he's a very good squad option for us as well. Yeah, I would keep Souttar, and it's up to him what he wants to do in the summer. Carney, what's your thoughts in John Souttar?
Two, mate. I've got two. If he's not going to sign an extension, sell him, because we let players' contracts run down too much. And even if you are only getting $1.5 million for him, at least it's something and not nothing. So I think we would be able to recruit somebody else to take John Souttar's place. And I mean, arguably, I think there's already two ahead of him now. I think it's quite clear who Russell Martin will probably. I think if Cody definitely comes in, I think Souttar's must start. Yeah, Souttar will not be starting at that point. We're not signing a 10 million player on loan for Wolves and Cody for them not to play. So I would be shocked if Souttar plays then. Right now, he probably does start for me just now. I quite like Souttar. I don't think he's a good siege defender. In fact, that he pretty much wins every header that comes into the box. He's a wee bit more controlled than maybe what Katic was, and I love Katic for that as well. It was always his ball when it was in the air, and Souttar's got the same sort of thing like that. I don't think John Souttar's that bad. I mean, I really don't. I think he's got a choice to make, whether it's the national team or Rangers, but I said that about Ryan Jack as well, and I would very rarely say a bad word about Ryan Jack. But with John Souttar, I think he's still got a part to play if he's going to be here. But again, it all depends whether he's even going to be offered an extension. I mean, there was talk of that, wasn't there, before Will Clement was still here? There was talk of maybe him getting an extension, and then obviously the takeover talk started to kind of really ramp up, and then there was no real revisiting of it. Does it tell its own story? The fact that we've got new owners in, we've got a new manager regime, a new coaching regime in, and a new director of football and whatever else, and we've not we've not offered him a contract. Does that tell its own story? I'm not sure. Suter's probably got one move left in him. I don't think he'll be at Rangers for the rest of his career. So I think it may be down to the player as well. Maybe he's weighing up options. These players are, but it's not one of these things that they hide away from. They'll probably pretty open with how they talk with the manager, how they talk with the head coach, and you could get used to saying head coach. Talk to the head coach and talk to the rest of the coaching staff about what their plans are in the future. But I don't think Suter's as bad as you think he is, Ali. I don't think you think he's bad. I get
he's
what
not
you're
bad.
coming.
I just don't think he's good enough for us in the big games, I would say.
He's done all right, though. He has done all right. I can't really... There's a couple of bomb scares, but name one defender that doesn't have a bomb scare in them, so I don't want to be too harsh on him, to be honest. And the whole usual, he fits the Scottish quota thing that nobody likes to talk about, but it is true. So I don't know. Would I be sad to see him go? Probably not. And maybe that tells its own story. I would say, thanks very much, John Suter, good luck to you, kind of thing, and kind of on you go. But again, that's probably due to the players that we've signed and the areas that we have signed. If it was him and Balogun going into next season, I would have an issue with that. Put it that way. So I think the fact that we have made signings, the fact that he might not be getting a new contract offer, does it make sense for Rangers to make money on him one way or another? If that's going to be the case, then yes, probably. And that's probably the way it sits just now. It probably sits of sort of going, well, I'll weigh up my options to see if any decent offer comes in that I'm interested in. If not, I'll stay and play my football here. Whether that floats Russell Martin's boat or not, who knows? If Cody comes in, then I don't see Suter being a starter. At his age, the Suter want to sit on the bench. There's so many things, mate. There is so many things. But I wouldn't be upset to see John Suter leave.
Yeah, I'm the same, to be honest. Folk know my thoughts on Suter, so I wouldn't be upset if he left, to be honest. But the other rumour that came about today, Ross, if your Wi-Fi's still holding up down there, I think it is. Diomande reportedly interested. Is it Besiktas, I think? €6.5 million for him. Reportedly, we paid the best part of €4.5 million for this guy. I'm not selling him for that. I'm not saying he's worth whatever it is. I know Carney's kind of on the fence with Diomande. I think he's coming round to him a wee bit, but he's a guy I think can flourish this season with the right players round about him. I think he's technically good. I think he's good in the big games in Europe against Celtic as well. I just think with players round about him, decent players, I think he can go up a level this season. So for me, I'm keeping Diomande, and then if he does well this season, punt him the following season potentially.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm gonna try and not mention any controversial players here, so the Wi-Fi keeps me on. But I know Matondo the lot of again. I shall try my best. Diomande, I would be gutted if he goes. I'm not gonna lie, I do quite like Diomande. I can't see him going. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's got that wee bit. He's actually got that wee bit of underrated flair about him. You know, with the way that he dribbles about, kind of Glenn Kamara-esque, if you will, just wee drop of the shoulder. He's got legs as well. He's got legs to run all day. So for me, I'd be looking to make Diomande a pretty solid foundation to the Russell Martin setup if he wants it. $6.5 million, you can do one. You can do one. Way more than that, from I won't lie. So definitely one for me that I'd be looking to keep this season. Definitely.
Yeah, Carney, if somebody came to Ibrox for $6.5 million last season at the beginning, you probably would have carried Diomande to the airport. I think you've kind of changed slightly on him. I know you're not as big a fan as me and Ross, but what's your thoughts on Diomande? Do you agree with me with better players round about him that he could potentially go another level this season?
I think utilised in the correct position would probably be beneficial to him as well. I think under Clement, he was too deep. He was far too deep at times, and that's not really his game. He was decent at times at breaking it up, but I watched him sometimes when we were having to suffer what Clement was serving up, and I kind of spent time kind of watching him while I was at games, and I was saying to the boys beside me, I was like, look at Diomande, like, what is he doing? Like, he just looked lost at times. I was like, he doesn't even know what he's doing. And it's probably unfair on him due to what he was being coached. I'm not sure. I think under from the highlights that we've seen so far, I don't want to spoil things are going to come on to later, but from highlights that we've seen so far, he does seem a bit more advanced. That the clips that you've seen him, he has been a bit more further forward. And yeah, I think $6.5 million is far too little for Rangers to think, well, we should pull the trigger early on him. I do believe he's got ability. I absolutely do believe that he has ability. I think that under Russell Martin, as you say, with the correct players round about him, then we could see a different side to him. I'm no way am I writing him off. I'm not at Rabbi Matondo levels with him. Like, I'm nowhere near that. I think he deserves a bit of a chance to kind of prove himself. I know a lot of people like him. Some people are more on the fence with him. I say you're right. At the start of last year, midway through last season, I would have carried him to wherever he had to go for $6.5 million. I'm not going to lie. But I'll reserve my judgment. And again, I'm always happy to be proven wrong. I want players to prove me wrong, because that usually means that they're doing well. And if they're doing well, my team's likely doing well. And I say that all the time. So I will wait and see where he's going to play under Russell Martin, and I do think that Russell Martin's probably looking at him as being a starter within the team, because of the way that he can take a ball in, the way that he can turn, the kind of Glenn Kamara-esque turn that we all kind of know. I think he'll feature quite prominently in this team. So, but $6.5 million, no, mate, no deal, absolute no deal.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's sounded a bit cheeky, some of these Turkish teams coming in, but Rangers don't have to sell like previous seasons. So, and you can see that with Egeman at the moment. I think they're playing a bit of hardball with Egeman. Egeman wants to go, I think, but Rangers have a valuation of the player, and I think they're sticking to it. So, if Lille want to be serious, then Rangers have said that's what you need to pay if you want him. So, I think that might rumble on a bit more. But today, the Euro squad was announced for the upcoming qualifier against Panathinaikos. I did hear that they've got 24 hours or something before the game plays that they can make a change or two changes, whatever it is, if we do sign somebody, so they can potentially make a change there. But the players that have been included, and there's a few that have you obviously put in a group chat, Carney, that aren't included, but the players included: goalkeepers Butland, Kelly, Wright; defenders Aarons, Giga, Fernandez, King, Suter, Tav, Jefte; midfielders Asagard, Barami, Barron, Cameron, Cortez, Diomande, Double, Robbie Fraser, Gassama, Raskin, Rothwell, and our forwards are Dessers, Josh Gentles, Egeman, and Danilo. The noticeable ones, Carney, that are out the squad, Ryan will be upset: Yilmaz, our pal Proper, Ben Davies, Ross McCausland, Cifuentes, we've not even seen, Sterling, who I think's still injured, Inciala, obviously we've been told he's to find a new club. That's the ones that are missing. What's your thoughts on the squad? And obviously the big one for me, that Asgard is included because there was a big injury, doubting him.
Yeah, obviously that was the bit of a fear of typical Rangers, isn't it? That Asagard's possibly, you're like, brilliant. Aye, of course he is. The guy we're probably most looking forward to seeing. Well, yeah, I would probably say he's probably the guy that, well, him and Gasama are probably the two that we're really looking forward to seeing. Yeah, I think as well, Rice not been in the squad as well. I found a bit strange.
No, he is. I think he's in. Is he not in the?
The B
team, which allows him to go in it or something.
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. So he can do that. Right. Fair enough.
Same with Finlay Curtis as well. He's in it too, technically, that way.
Yeah. Well, I think obviously that there was no massive shock for me, really. I don't think. I don't know if Sterling's still injured, whether he's even anywhere near fitness or that yet, but he has been seen at training and stuff, hasn't he? So we don't know how far along he is. Yilmaz, if he's injured again, I swear it. I swear it. What are we doing with him? I think we all know that Yilmaz has to go now this window. I don't think there's any doubt that he does. We have to get rid of him. He's not going to be good enough. He never is going to be more. He's never going to be consistently fit enough for us to be able to rely on him. And unfortunately, it's a lot of money we spent on a guy that's offered us very little. And yeah, for me, it's time for Yilmaz to move on. Dowell's the one that stands out, isn't it? I don't think there's any doubt. I think there's everything. When I went through it all, I looked at it, and I think I was waiting for this. And Ross, you put it in the group chat as well. Like, I think Russell Martin fancies a bit of Dowell, and he's probably going to be about for the rest of the season at least. I've seen nothing from Dowell that makes me think he's anything but just an average player. I don't think he's particularly good. I don't think he offers anything sort of different or dangerous or attacking, or he has ability to make a difference. I've not seen it. I really haven't seen it. As a squad player, maybe you could get away with it depending on where he's going to play. But then, look, I've always said that, and I've just second time I've said it on the pod. I'm happy to be proven wrong, and that he is something that I have never seen, and it's going to be interesting what Martin decides to do with him. For me, he's one that I've had my mind made up on for a bit. Him, Davies, Matondo are the three that I think are not good enough to play for Rangers, and the three signings that I don't really know why we made them. But if he's the guy that's going to, there's chances of every player getting a wee bit of rejuvenation under a new manager, under a new coaching team, under a new style of play, a new philosophy of football. All the caveats you want to fly at it. If it's to be Dowell, okay, that's fine. I will happily let it be Dowell. But for me, when I seen it, I went, Dowell? I was like, Dowell, really? So maybe it's just because his song's that good. They thought, well, I'll try and get him good so we can all do the Dowell, because I would be really good. If he scored a goal, that would be a good one, like to play the Ibrox. But yeah, look, no shocks in the team for me, mate. No shocks in the real massive shocks in terms of who was left out. But the inclusion of Dowell was one that I went, maybe something in that.
Yeah, Ross, the players that we're talking about not being in the squad. Yilmaz is as Carney's kind of touched on there. Yilmaz, I think he's been told to find a new club. Jefte, and everyone knows me and Carney are not overall great fans of Jefte because of his defending. I will be coming on to a bounce game that we played during the week, and there was a guy we've signed at right back who actually played left back in that game, which I think you may see on Tuesday night. And I think Ross may have frozen again. I think he's frozen, Carney. So I think you're back there, Ross. You're back. I'm going on about Yilmaz not being. I think he's frozen again. He has. Right, Carney, I'm going to come to you.
Okay.
Yilmaz obviously not in the squad that you talked about. Jefte, we don't think he's good enough. Aaron's played left back against Dunfermline. Do you think that is where we potentially may see him? And folk will be going, oh no, because Tab's still at right back. I can hear the numbers already. That's
it, mate. And you've hit the nail right on the head with that, mate. That's exactly the problem with Aaron's playing at left back. That is the problem, is the fact that Russell Martin will be beat with the stick that James Tavernier is still at right back. And it's as simple as that. It really is as simple as that. Am I a fan of it? No, I'm not. I don't think we should be looking to play him there. I think we should be looking to play him at right back. I'd be slightly surprised if his parent team have said that you can play him wherever you want. Usually within loans you get some form of, he must play this and he must play there and he must do that and he must do this. But for me, I don't want to see it, to be honest. I would rather stick with Jefte. I don't know if I rather would stick with Jefte. But I think it's an area that we need to recruit. I think that's an area that we're going to struggle in if we're going into the season with basically you're going to have Tavernier, Aarons and Jefte. It looks like Yilmaz's going to be moved on. Maybe Sterling's going to come back and be the backup to Tavernier. Who knows? I've got no idea. But for me, mate, I'm not a massive fan of Aarons being at left back initially. I think it's a dangerous thing for Martin to do, for Russell Martin to do, because if it goes wrong, it's a massive big stick for him to be beat over the head with. I think he should be brave in his decision making. I think he should be brave in his recruitment, which he seems to be doing. Don't get me wrong, on basis on what we've seen. And yeah, I know we are basing this on, it might have been a one-off. Maybe Jefte had a knock and Yilmaz has stubbed his toe again or something. But to play Aarons at left back, I was a wee bit like, it doesn't sit very well with me. And again, coming from a guy that's a James Tavernier fanboy, but at some point we're going to need to move on past James Tavernier. I think he can still have a role to play, yes, but I've very much expected him to either be the kind of right centre half at times with Aarons at right back, or almost like a rotation between Aarons and Tavernier at right back. Is kind of the way that I thought we would see it. Aarons playing a right back at left back. We played Yilmaz at right back before. It worked once. Every other time after that was a complete disaster. I'm not a fan of it. I'm just not a fan of it. Play the guys where they're meant to play. We've said it for I don't know how long, and I think Rossi made the point a couple of weeks ago, I think, on the pod. Round pegs and round holes. Don't be trying to put square pegs in round holes. There's no need for you to do that. So I think it's a risk if Martin chooses to do it. If it works, brilliant, epic, brilliant. We all love it. Aaron's will be the best left back ever to play at Rangers, and it'll be the best decision that Martin's ever made. But it doesn't sit well with me, mate. I would much rather see a left back at left back and a right back at right back if we're going to go with a flat four, which is the back four, which it seems like we're going to do. So I'm not a massive fan of it on paper. Proof will be in the pudding, I suppose, if it's something that Martin's going to decide to go with. But as I say, it's. I just think it's a risk. I think it's a risk.
Yeah, I just think the two left backs we've got just aren't good enough, and I think he's seen that, and that's potential why he's looking at playing Aaron's, we want to say, out in the left hand side. I'd prefer him playing right back, but if that's the case, that he doesn't trust Yilmaz or Jefte, like we don't, go out and get a left back. That should be one of the priorities, to go and get a left back and play Aaron's at right back. But Ross, obviously you're back in the room again. What's your thoughts on what me and Carney were talking about in terms of no Yilmaz? Obviously Jefte's in the squad, but I did mention that against that Dunfermline, the Dunfermline game during the week, Aaron's played left back, which I think he will play on Tuesday night. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I reckon that's one I Tuesday 100%. It literally is a story that we've said all over again. No, I don't want to come across as, it could work, don't get me wrong, but we've seen it so many times. As Carney rightly said, Yilmaz at right back, Sterling at centre back, right wing. It doesn't do players any good. And more sort of, if you imagine Aaron's he's came in the door, he'll be raging. He'll be absolutely raging. Thinking, all right, come in, get a massive opportunity to play for Rangers, and yet he's getting papped out in an unnatural position. I don't know. It doesn't sit well with me, gents. I won't lie. So again, I hope that it comes good. But on the squad itself, yeah, it is what it is. I do think Dill is in the plans. I do think he will start next week. I can't quite believe I'm saying that, but I do think he'll start next week. It was very interesting hearing that interview with Russell Martin saying that it were like kind of those figureheads are Tav, Butland, Suter, and Dill. It was an interesting facial expressions. I shall just leave it at that. But yeah, it's a massive opportunity as well, I think, for young Gentles, because I don't know if as Dessers and Igaman, can they actually, will you see them play? Obviously, we'll come on to the bounce game, but they weren't in the squad. So if Danilo, let's say, if he's injured, this could be a massive chance for Gentles. So there's some definite eyebrows raised, that's for sure. Lyle Cameron as well, instead of McCausland. I think that says a lot about McCausland, unfortunately. It's just one that I reckon he'll be off-ski. But yeah, we need to trust that that's the team to get us through to the next round. There's, you'd maybe want a few more players in the door. But of course we would. But that's what we've got to go with, and just got to hope that can get us over the line for this tie.
Yeah, and the players, those players that are left out, are players we desperately need to get rid of. Robin Cropper's a good example of a guy we're trying to get rid of, but we can't at the moment because
I think that's close. I think it's close.
It will, but and a lot of folk think of bash Cropper a wee bit, but at the end of the day,
one of his crap, mate.
No, in terms of him wanting money off the Rangers.
Oh well, no.
But at the end of the day, Rangers gave that guy a contract. He's probably going to be on less money at 20, and he's owed it. So if you were in that position at your job, would you not do the same? That's down to us. Poor recruitment and why we're bringing these guys in. But yeah, I hope to see the backup players at proper. Davies, I think we will get rid of. I'm pretty sure. even McCausland, I think we can get the players like that. Cifuentes, God knows. Yeah, I think a lot of them may go out on loan. I think we may have to do that just to get them off and the wages off at the moment. But we will wait and see. The transfer window still has ages to go, so there's plenty of weeks to get these guys away. But thankfully, Rangers have brought players in. We're not in a position of previous years where we've had to get rid of players before we could bring players in, which is good. So we have been down at St George's Park, Carney, the last week or so. We did play Dunfermline, Neil Lennon's Dunfermline, in a bounce game. Rangers won 4-1 in the game. The big talking point of it, Carney, which folk will be delighted about probably in the comments and want to probably rub it in our face, then he's probably our next number one striker in terms of all our strikers we've got. Danilo, apparently, he scored a goal and he assisted in 3 of the other goals. What does this say for Danilo, Carney? I think he'll start on Tuesday because the other guys we haven't seen. I don't know if Dessers is fit enough to start, but Danilo, we've slaughtered him in this podcast. He scored a goal. He's assisted 3 goals. Is this Danilo now? Is he the guy that Russell Martin's going to get a tune out of? Because I'll be honest, I still can't see it.
He's not avenged himself, mate, by scoring against Dunfermline. That's all I'm going to say. It is nice to beat Neil Lennon at anything, really. I don't really care what it is. It's always good to beat Neil Lennon, whatever he is doing. Look, a goal and 3 assists, mate, it's still good going no matter who you're playing. That is pretty good. And you can obviously, I think that tells its own story as well, a little bit about how Martin's playing, about he wants whatever he wants his striker to do, his main striker to do. So I found that interesting, don't get me wrong. With Danilo, I think he will start next week. I think he will be the one that starts on Tuesday. I don't think Igaman and Dessers are there yet in terms of fitness levels. I'd imagine they'll be on the bench, yes, but with Danilo, mate, I don't see it, right? And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that, oh, yeah, he's right, he scored against them, then he scored against Dunfermline, and I've immediately changed my mind on him. If he wants to, like, obviously, this is his chance right now, though. Like that, I mean, he's not been consistently fit enough for Rangers since he's been bought here. We spent $6 million on him to bring him here, and we've seen very little return for that. A lot of people said he hasn't had a chance. I kind of agree to differ to that, because he has had chances. He had chances to come in and make a bit of an impact, and he didn't really do it. And I think people forget as well, when he was fit at the start, he missed some amount of sitters. He really did. He missed a crazy amount of sitters, and he missed one against who was it ultimately? Barnsley, was it? Barnsley, when they won each game. That he missed an absolute sitter. I watched the highlights of that game. He missed. I mean, how he's managed to miss it is bad. I think he kicked the post out of frustration. I was like, no wonder you're kicking the post out of frustration, because it was a shocker. And it's pre-season, I know, I do get that. I'm not reading too much into it, but again, it's a bit of a trend with Danilo. He will start. I'll be shocked if we go into after this window with Danilo, Dessers and Igaman all still at the club. I think Danilo's going to be here unless it would be a loan option with an option to buy or an obligation to buy. If Rangers could work a deal like that, then I think Danilo's going to be here. Again, just based on everything I've just said, he's not been consistently fit enough. He's not scored enough goals, and he's not performed anywhere near how we would expect for a $6 million player to play for Rangers. So I think he'll be here. Whether the other two will be, I don't know. We're going to need to wait and see. Obviously, there's interest. There's rumours now, obviously, that Igaman's a bit peeved off by the fact that he's not been allowed to leave. Whether any of that's true, we don't know. But yeah, this is his chance, though. It's his chance now to go, right, well, this is my jersey. It's my starting position. I'm the guy that plays. No matter who they bring in, I'm the guy that plays. Say if Igaman was to go, then Danilo's got to... At this stage, it's now or never, literally now or never for him in his Rangers career. If he doesn't do it, if it's too much for him, if he's not going to be able to manage it, then unfortunately we're stuck with a guy that's on probably pretty sizable wages and be paid a lot of money for. But this is his opportunity. He's fit, he's ready to go, he's had a full pre-season. We've seen him absolutely burst in every single training video that we've seen. So he's clearly been working hard, he's clearly getting worked hard. But it's now or never for him. Really is now or never. I want to be singing Danilo's song at the end of the season because he's the guys that won us the league. 100% I do. Do I believe that's going to be the case? Honestly, no, I don't. I don't think Danilo is that guy. But happy to be wrong, but I don't believe Danilo is that guy.
Yeah. I mean, Danilo, when we signed Danilo, we signed him pretty much at the very end of pre-season because it was that Hoffenheim game we were at, Carney, and he come on in that game, but that's when we literally just signed him. I think that was the last game we played in pre-season that year. Get injured. Didn't have a pre-season last season because he was injured, obviously. So this is the first time he's had a full pre-season at Ibrox. So it'll be interesting, Ross. What's your thoughts on Dino? I mean, without spoiling our teams for the Panathinaikos game, but I think we're all in agreement that Danilo will start. He started all the pre-season games. Dessers, as I said, don't think it's fit enough. Again, we don't quite know what's happening, but Danilo will start, won't he? And also, I can't see I want a new striker, but I can't see us bringing a new striker in until somebody goes out of A3.
I agree.
Yep, spot on. Honestly, I echo, especially what Carney's saying. This is the last straw with Danilo, unfortunately. And I know that more than anything, Carney, the Oasis fan that he is, would love to be singing that Danilo song because it's an absolute belter. I would honestly love to do the exact same, but it is his big chance now. It is a big chance to kind of try out. I wouldn't go as far as to cement the striker position, but for the time being, we don't know who our striker is. Danilo can put himself up in that pecking order. And as I've said before, I would like to see Igaman as our striker. But for now, we'll back him. We'll back Danilo. And obviously, we want all our players to do well at the end of the day. Of course we do. It's just, I think Danilo has had a lot of moments, especially that Barnsley game is an example where there are chances that for £6 million, you'd be like, surely you got to bust the back of the net, surely. And there's a lot of moments like that, unfortunately, with Danilo. But if he can do it in the big stage, and if he can be remembered for, I harp on about the guy all the time. You think of Cholak, he's a guy who got us into the Champions League against PSV. If Danilo can be known as a guy who got us through to the next round v Panathinaikos, brilliant. We want that. We want some memories with players. So if Danilo can have that moment on Tuesday and then do it again the next week, then brilliant. He'll get the chance. It's just whether he takes it. And I hope that he is. I hope that he does. Sorry. But yes, I want Oasis blasting next week, lads. I want Oasis absolutely blasting through Ibrox Tannoy. So let's hope for that.
So do I, Ross. I hope he scores a bloody hat trick on Tuesday. I honestly do. I know folk know my views on Danilo, but I want him to prove me wrong. I really do. But yeah, I think he'll play against Panathinaikos. He's a guy that's had most minutes, if you're going to say. The other two haven't played at all, really. I know Dessers played for was it Nigeria or something? He played for way early, and he scored actually, I think. But he's had his wedding. I think he's been injured as well, so he's not really been amongst the team. So interesting. But anyway, we have a game to preview, an actual proper game to preview, not a friendly or a dead rubber thing, but the Champions League second round qualifier, Panathinaikos, as we all know, it was drawn ages ago. First tie at Ibrox, second tie out in Athens, which will not be in their stadium. I think their stadium's getting renovated at the moment, so It's another stadium. But Panathinaikos, they've played a few decent teams in pre-season so far. I think they've played 4 games in pre-season so far, but the last 3 played Schalke, drew 0-0. Played Braga, they lost 2-1, and the last game they played was Westerlo, where they won 3-1. So they'll come here confident. Panathinaikos, I know their manager or coach was going about saying that he knew absolutely everything about Rangers and he'd watched everything. I mean, us as fans, we don't really know what we're going to expect because we've not seen this team that's probably going to take the park on Tuesday night. So how he knows, I don't know. But Ross, Tuesday night, it's massive. I'll rate it as a 50-50, just where we are in the season, the squad we've got in. If we were further down the line with I would say a more experienced squad that's been together, I would rate as favourably. Panathinaikos, I know we drew 0-0 with Olympiacos last year in Europa League. Panathinaikos finished second in that league, but they were miles behind Olympiacos in that league. But it's early. I prefer the home tie being the second tie. But where we are at this present point as a new team, I think being at home's better in the first game for us. The crowd, I'd like to think it'll be near enough a sellout on Tuesday night. We'll all be up for it. Some of these players have probably never played in a ground like Ibrox in terms of the noise and stuff, European ties as well. But what's your thoughts on Tuesday night against Panathinaikos, and do you think Rangers can take a lead out to Athens? And we need to.
I think mate, they do. I think you're spot on actually with the first leg, being Ibrox this time. It's a completely blank canvas. If we were to go into that first leg and we are, 2-1 down, 2-0 down, Jings, the vibes at Ibrox would not be ideal especially for Russell Martin's real first game at Ibrox, really, and this squad. So actually, you're spot on, mate. That the first leg at Ibrox, I'm okay with. Interestingly, looking into the kind of previous games against Panathinaikos, we've yet to beat them. We've played them 4 times. We've lost once and drew 3 times. So it's a cracking record to get us started off, which is brilliant. Also, Stephen Davis had his debut against Panathinaikos in February 2008. So it's going to be a good game. It is myself, my brother, and taking the mother to Ibrox for the first time. So it'll be a cracking day out.
That's a bit of punishment for your mum there, Ross.
Ross's mum's going to be on a podcast next.
Oh, honestly, she'd absolutely love to. She'd love it. But yeah, no, I'm absolutely buzzing for it to get back to Ibrox. It will be an absolute cauldron. Let's be honest about it. It's the magnitude of the game. I don't think I've quite sunk in how big it actually is, but financially, this is huge. Obviously, we've still got another round to go, but this could be the difference between, a decent Rangers team and potentially a title-winning Rangers team. It's potentially the difference between that. So absolutely buzzing for it, mate, but absolutely bricking it at the same time, and it's only Friday. So just God help me for the rest of the weekend. But no, looking forward to it. Very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, it is a massive game, Carney, because if we get put out of this round, we go into the Europa League playoff, but we're not seeded for it, so we could get hit with a decent team. And then after that, you're looking at maybe if you get out of that, you're potentially looking at conference, and even that's not guaranteed. But Rangers win this tie, we get through this tie, regardless of what happens, we're guaranteed group stage or league stage, whatever you want to say, Europa League football at least for this season. But it's a massive game for Rangers, but it's these players should be looking forward to it. It's Rangers Panathinaikos. It's I know it's a second round qualifier in the Champions League, but it's a good one. I think it's a perfect one for Russell Martin to kick off his Rangers career, especially with a full house at Ibrox ready for it.
It's early though, mate. That is the thing. That's the thing that probably makes us all a wee bit nervous, that this is our proper first competitive game. It isn't pre-season. It's not a pre-season game. It's not a pre-season friendly. So it's a massive game. It really is a huge game. Obviously, UEFA would quite like us to see us playing football literally for 12 months of the year, for players just to become robots. The way AI is going, maybe that is what we'll be watching. But with this game, I think it's so 50-50. Honestly, I do. I think it is so 50-50. I think the cliche that we always say about is how Rangers start. If we start and we are firing within the first couple of minutes, and you can see that the players are right up for it, we look fit, they look like all the pre-season work is paid off, Ibrox will be raucous. It really will, because we'll scream the team on. If everything that Russell Martin has been saying about moving the ball quickly, about the ball doesn't say stay still, etc., we have to keep moving the ball forward. We have to press high. We have to get the press high. All the things he's explained about why we need to be in this position when we're not in this position, why we need to do that, why players need support, various other things. If all of that clicks on Tuesday and we all of a sudden see a rejuvenated Rangers team, Ibrox will fucking go through the noise levels will go through the roof, because we'll be like, right, this is what we're looking for. This is what we're after. There's something that we can identify here with. If we start it the way we started every game under Philip Clement, we'll be 2 down within 20 minutes, mate. So that's like the bit that we need to weigh up. I'm not too concerned about the lack of the lack of pre-season. We've played plenty of football. We have played plenty of football. That this is we played just as much as Panathinaikos have, really. The players have been working hard to this particular date. It's not as if Rangers are taking this lightly. Obviously, this is if we get through this round, no matter what happens, we make Europa League group stage football. So even worst case scenario is we're still in group stage football going into the season. Would we all love to win the Champions League? I think we would all love that. I really do think we would all love it. It's huge. It's massive. Financially, it's massive. And for Russell Martin, can he ask for a better game to start, a better game to make his name, a better game to see Rangers playing well? I mean, imagine being able to put maybe 3 past them, maybe they score 1. We take a two goal lead over to Greece. Pie in the sky stuff, maybe for some, but you never know. Ibrox does special things on European nights, usually a Thursday night though. A wee bit apprehensive since it's on a Tuesday, but it's usually a Thursday. But I think I'm looking forward to it. I'm very much looking forward to it now, because we've signed enough players for me to think, right, this team, regardless, is going to look different. We have to now hope that the work that has been done, and I'll give them the benefit of the doubt right now for the fact that I believe that it has been done. From what you've seen, from the footage that Rangers have allowed to see, from the reports that you heard from Stevie at Four Lads, from Davy Edgar at Heart and Hand about what they seen when they were down at St George's, Rangers are working hard. We're working properly hard. This is different than what we're probably used to seeing before. The players are probably not seen something like this either. Seems a wee bit more of a modern approach, what Russell Martin's trying to do. But I think he's making it quite clear that we will move the ball quickly. We will press them anytime that's right. We have triggers for going to press. Everything is going to be set up properly, and everybody's going to know their job. That's the bit that I'm really excited about. I think if we get everything right on Tuesday, do I think we can get a result? Yeah, I absolutely do. I do. It would be good to go over there with a lead. 1 goal, 2 would be absolutely brilliant. But I can't wait for it, mate. I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm already trying to figure out how I can make sure I finish early on Tuesday, so there is no doubt that I am there on time. Not that I think I'll be late, but, just that wee extra hour of give that you would like to have. So I think I need to make a couple of messages to make sure I get away sharpish. But I'm looking forward to it, mate. I really can't wait to see it now.
Yeah, I'm the same, because it's different, because in previous seasons, when you see a newish team, you get to see them in pre-season close up. You kind of get to see the players that we've brought in, kind of what we're doing. It's been different this pre-season, because the team we've seen play, Bruges, that's not the team we're going to see on Tuesday night, nowhere near it. And obviously the rest of it's been played behind closed doors to a point. I know there's been the odd highlight of stuff, but as fans, we've not seen it. So Tuesday really is the first time we'll all get to see this team properly up front in terms of the players he's got in, how he wants to play. And yeah, I think it's quite exciting. I know he's not got all the bits of the jigsaw he wants at the moment, but he's got a lot more pieces than he had when we played Bruges, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it and seeing what these guys have, to see if they do have what Russell Martin said to us, the way he wants to play, the press and moving the ball quick, high intensity. Can we do it? Because for years we've been laboured under certain managers. And I'd like to see a Rangers team come out the blocks and all us go, Christ, this is what we're looking for. And on that, Ross, I think they might be quite similar here, but what's your team for Tuesday and your score and first goal scorer?
Christ, hang on a minute.
Do you not think I was going to come to you for a team, Carney?
No, somebody go first and I'll just agree with you. I'll say, aye, that's my team too.
I know, Ross has got a team written down here.
I might have. So we've got Scott Wright on the right. We've got no, we're joking. So I'm not gonna lie, lads. I think it's gonna be very similar to that bounce team game. I think you'll have Butland back 4. I do think Tav, Suter, Giga, and Aarons. I do think you'll see Aarons at left back. Midfield 3. I think Rask and Diomande are absolute shoo-ins. Has he seen enough of Rothwell? He does. You've seen the footage of him in the background. They get on very, very well. I think you'll probably see Rothwell go in there. It's a very, very exciting midfield, sorry. And then up front, I'm going Kieran Dowell. Get the tune blasting. I think he's going to start, lads. I do think if Asgard's fit, he plays. I do think Asgard probably plays. If not, I'd love to see Gassama. I'd absolutely love to see him. Literally, it'd be an absolute cauldron of fire for him. When he, probably not know what to expect and being chucked straight into Ibrox, but that would be an exciting introduction to the team. And it'll be Danilo up front, who, again, as we say, go and prove us wrong, please. Just please go and prove us wrong, because we'd love to, have a starting striker who we're confident in. Imagine having three. If Dessers gets up to the form that he's in, if Igaman can keep doing what I'm sure we all believe that he can do, and have Danilo there, you're going, right, now we're starting to really build some good foundations. So I do hope this is the game that we remember Danilo for. I do hope, because this, as Carney rightly says, this is chance. There won't be much more coming this way. So that's the team for me, mate. I'm going 3-1 Rangers. I think we're going to get that 2-goal bounce, and Danilo, he's going to do it. He's going to get his goal. So I'm going 3-1 Rangers.
I like it. Positive. I'm the same backline in middle as you. I think it'll be that. Up top, Danilo, I think, will play through the middle. I'd play Gassama if he's fit. He's obviously been training with Rangers at St George's Park. I'm playing him. I'd rather play him over Cortez over Cortez. If Asgard's fit, if he is fit, again, he plays. If he doesn't, a dodgy one. The two I had in my head was Barami or your man, you said there, Ross Kieran-Dowell. But it'll be interesting what he does there. I know that Gassama can play across. He can play both sides. So whether he maybe plays him on the right, maybe plays a Cortez on the left, I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see. But I'm going positive as well. I'm going 2-0 Rangers. And I'm joining you, Ross. I think Danilo may score a goal for Rangers. So, yes, that's what I think. Carney, what's your thoughts? You don't need to give a team, but even just a score and first goal scorer.
Well, listening to both your teams, it's hard to see.
Justin Muir.
Thank you so much, mate. Very
God bless
much
America,
appreciated.
Justin.
God bless America, indeed. Thank you, Justin, mate. That's very much appreciated. I think the midfield three is probably spot on. I don't particularly want to see Jefte at left back, but I would prefer a right back to be right back, going back to what I said earlier in the pod. But yeah, the front three, I think if Asgard is fit enough, then he plays. I think Gassama will play. I think the fact that he has been training with Rangers, I think the risk will be taken even if he has a view of taking him off, if whatever. But I think he will probably start. I don't think he's been brought here not to start. So yeah, after the Bruges game, Barami played really well in that second half. But could it possibly be him that would play instead of Asgard? Who knows? I think it's still very much up in the air. I don't know if it will tell you a full story, considering players are still very much getting to full fitness. But I think there'll be an idea about who Russell Martin believes are these men going into Tuesday night. And yeah, Danilo will play up front. I'll also go for 3-1, and I'll go for Diomande to score first.
There you go. Diomande runs the show, doesn't he? But yes, that's a very positive outcome from the three of us. We've started this season's podcast very positively. Hopefully it continues as we roll into the season. But yeah, no, that's us over the hour mark. So before I thank my guests, I'd like to thank everyone in the comments tonight. Justin Muir as well for your kind donation. Justin, as always.
Amazing.
We will see you in the Viceroy very soon. I know Justin's due to come down in the next couple of months. But yeah, and last but not least, my two guests tonight, Mr. Scott Carney. Thanks for tonight.
Yeah, absolute pleasure, mate. The real football is just there, literally just there. And yeah, let's hope everything that we've heard, everything that we've seen leads to a pretty memorable night on Tuesday. Very much hope your team wins. Of course, we will be back on Tuesday with a reaction after the game as well. So yeah, roll on Tuesday, mate. Literally counting down the days now until we're back at Ibrox and competitive football is off and running again.
Yep. And last but not least, Ross, you've held it to the final minutes of the podcast. You were in and out, but you're still here. I hope your mum enjoys the game on Tuesday. I hope she's a good luck charm for her first game at Ibrox. If we do get beat, do not bring her back to Ibrox again. But yes, enjoy your night on Tuesday.
Correct answer. I shall keep that in mind. Thank you, Jez. That was good. I do apologise, folks, for the Wi-Fi. I will get that looked at for next week. But as we say, I hope your team wins next week. I am absolutely buzzing for it. There's nothing better. You come off the pod and you're like, right, kick off. Surely it's here. It's here. You've got that buzz, and I hope that it's flowing in and out the chat as well. Let's go into Tuesday feeling as optimistic as possible. It's a new era. It's a new beginning. Let's start in the best foot possible. With Oasis blasting, as we say. So yes, have a good weekend, everybody, when it comes.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, thanks again. As Carney says, we'll be back on Tuesday with our club reaction. Hopefully, we'll be smiling with our Rangers win against Panathinaikos. But yes, we will see you then. So we have been Club at 22, the Rangers podcast, and good night.